Lecture we will discuss the largest part of the forebrain, cerebrum. Cerebrum is the topmost and largest part of the brain. It is divided right and left cerebral hemisphere. The right cerebral hemisphere control movement and activities of the left side of the body, while the left cerebral hemisphere control the right side of the body. It means that cerebrum first cerebrum position where the cerebrum is present. So cerebrum occupy the top position of the forebrain. And then it is again divided into two parts. One is the right part and another is the left part. Hemisphere means half circular, half circular, half circular. Okay, the right. So now there is the coordination between the two hemisphere. The right hemisphere control the movement and body activities of the left side of the body, while the left cerebral hemisphere control the right side of the body. Because our organs distributed in two sides, one on the right side and left side. So the right side body activity parts controlled by the left cerebral hemisphere, and the left body parts movement and activities controlled by the right cerebral hemisphere. I will show from the diagram. This is the forebrain. Forebrain consists of cerebrum, thalamus, and hypothalamus, and this whole part is called the cerebrum. This is these are the two hemisphere. One is the right hemisphere. This is the right hemisphere, right, and this is the left hemisphere. So the right hemisphere control the body activity on the left side, and the left hemisphere control the body parts activity present on the right side. So this is the cerebrum. Now the function. Cerebrum is the control center of many sensory areas like sight, speech. Sight means vision, speech, smell, taste, and hearing. These are the main function, and some of the advanced function of the cerebrum is it is also concerned with learning, thinking, intelligence, memory, and voluntary movement. What are the voluntary movements? The movements, the body movements control according to our will. So these are the movements which are according to our will, according to our wish. So voluntary means voluntary movement contains the moment under our will. Now second part of the forebrain, thalamus. Inside the cerebrum there is a small structure called thalamus. Function of the thalamus, that what is the function? It acts as a processing center between the body and the cerebrum by receiving the sensory information like touch and sound and carry them to cerebrum. Those sensations, for example, sensation of sound and sensation of touch, they first received by the thalamus. Thalamus is the joining center or the coordinating center between the lower brain parts and the cerebrum. So first it receives the sensory information and then deliver to cerebrum. Now the next part of this is the third part. Cerebrum is the first part, thalamus is the second part, and hypothalamus is the third part of the forebrain. Now thalamus, hypothalamus. Hypothalamus lies just below the thalamus, which regulate body temperature, hunger, and thirst. So thalamus present below the hypothalamus present below the thalamus, and it control or it activate body temperature, hunger, and thirst. Body temperature, for example, regulate body temperature. So during the summer season, if temperature increase, beyond 37 degrees Celsius and reach to 40 or 40 plus. So this center will regulate, the hypothalamus will regulate the body temperature, or it carry the body temperature to 37 degrees Celsius. In winter season, if the environmental temperature is low or in minus 1, -2, but the body temperature remain the same, 37 degrees Celsius, because hypothalamus control the body temperature. Similarly, during 24 hours, we take food, lunch and dinner. So this taking of the food controlled by the hypothalamus. Now, from the diagram, I will show the thalamus and hypothalamus. So this is the cerebrum, and this is the hypothalamus, just present present between the hypothalamus and cerebrum. So it is present below the cerebrum. This is cerebrum, and this is the hypothalamus, thalamus, and the third part, the hypothalamus. This is the hypothalamus. So hypothalamus present below the thalamus, and this is the last part of the forebrain. This is the first part, the cerebrum. This is the second part, the thalamus, and this is the third part, the hypothalamus. Midbrain is reduced in human, and it is present under the cerebral hemisphere. Midbrain present between the hindbrain and the forebrain, cerebral hemisphere. And function, what is the function of the midbrain? So midbrain function, midbrain is relay center that connect forebrain with the hindbrain. It also control reflex movement of the eyes and hearing reflexes. Midbrain is the relay center. Relay center means to stay center. All the sensory information first stay in the midbrain and then deliver to the forebrain. So the sensation coming from the hindbrain, it first received by the midbrain relay or stay for some time and then deliver to forebrain. So midbrain connect the forebrain with the hindbrain. It also control reflex movement of the eyes. Reflex movement means involuntary movement or uncontrollable blinking of the eyes, for example. Reflex movement means blinking of eyes, and hearing reflexes. Hearing reflexes means the involuntary hearing moment. Hearing reflexes means a sound sensation. So involuntary sound sensation basically controlled by the midbrain. So now hindbrain divided into three parts: cerebrum, pons, medulla oblongata. So from the diagram I will show, this is midbrain present between the forebrain and hindbrain. This whole part is a hindbrain. So hindbrain divided into three parts. This is a cerebellum. Cerebellum is the largest part of the hindbrain, part number 1. And pons, this is the second part of the hindbrain. And medulla oblongata, this is the third part of the hindbrain. Description of the hindbrain parts. Cerebrum is the second largest part of the brain, the whole brain. Function: cerebrum control balance of the body and coordinate the voluntary movements of the body as well. We can pick a book from table or touch our foot without mistake because of a healthy cerebrum. So cerebellum control the voluntary movement. Voluntary movement means that those movements which are according to our will, under our control. So these are voluntary movement. And involuntary movement, we already discussed those movements without our control. So for example, if we pick a book from the table, this is due to cerebellum, the movement of the body parts. For example, in elder person, if there is a problem in the cerebellum, so you will show and you will observe that the hands of the elder persons show uncontrollable body movement. So now, second part of the hindbrain pons. It is located above the medulla. It is a small structure. Function: it control transition between the sleep and wakefulness and the rate and pattern of breathing. Transition between sleep and wakefulness. Transition means that during night time we sleep, and the duration of sleep when finish, so then we wake during a daytime. So this is the transition between the sleep and wakefulness, and the rate of pattern of breathing. For example, the normal breathing rate is 16 times to 20 times per minute, but during exercise the breathing rate increase. So this increase in breathing rate controlled by the pons. Medulla oblongata is the posterior. Posterior means that the lateral part of the brain. Posteriorly, it continues with the spinal cord. It connects the spinal cord with the brain. Function: it controls the automatic function. Like automatic function means involuntary function. For example, breathing functions. It controls the automatic function like breathing, heart rate, circulation of the blood pressure, swallowing, and vomiting. Swallowing is the entrance of food from mouth to pharynx, and vomiting is the backward movement of food from stomach to mouth. So this is all about the human brain. Students, if you have any question, comment me. I will give answer. Thank you.